All praise, glory, and honor is most certainly due to the Most High Elohim of the patriarchs Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I want to say peace to you in the name of his son, Yehoshua Mashiach. It's always a blessing each and every single time that I can come before you to bring a message contained in his word. I never count it as a light thing to do so. All right, in today's message, I'm answering a question, and the question is, quote, is the mark of the beast currently out? Some people were saying it's the jab. Okay, so now, people say a lot of things, but when you look at the mark of the beast, it's within the context of Great Tribulation. Great Tribulation has not taken place yet. What will happen to bring forth Great Tribulation? He tells us in Matthew the 24th chapter, when you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth let him understand. He goes on to say, for then shall be great tribulation, right? It says, for such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Okay, so what is the abomination of desolation? Well, we know that takes place during the time of Great Tribulation. Okay, we know that Paul talks about what's going to take place at that particular time as well in regard to the temple, where he says in 2 Thessalonians, let me just read it in 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, he says in verse 1, now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, and by our gathering together unto him, that he be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter asked from us, as that the day of Christ is at hand. I'm in 2 Thessalonians 2. I started at verse 1 and I read verse 2. Now I'm in verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, that's apostasy. And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. So before the Lord, the people in Thessalonica, the congregation was worried about the return of the Mashiach, of the Messiah, and they were worried about it and concerned about it back then. But he told them first, the man of sin has to be revealed, and it has to be a temple. Well, there's a push to rebuild the temple. If you've been paying attention, if you haven't been under a rock or watching TikTok videos all day, and understand there are a lot of things going on in relation to that, the establishment of a temple. Okay, so now the temple has to be rebuilt. You get the son of man, the man of sin must be revealed. Right, you're going to see the abomination of desolation spoken about Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place. All right, so now, this is within the context, when you talk about the mark of the beast. Now, the mark of the beast takes place, within the context of Great Tribulation, which has not happened yet. So if Great Tribulation has not happened yet, you can't have the mark of the beast, technically, because the mark of the beast is associated with worship. Let's pick it up in Revelation, the 13th chapter, and verse 11. Revelation 13 and 11 reads, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Verse 16, now this again is during Great Tribulation. 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay, so now we got the mark of the beast. Now we have the mark of the beast in the context of Great Tribulation, and you won't be able to buy or sell, save, or except you have this mark. Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. 666. We know that is the number that is associated with the one coming out of the papacy, vicarious filidae, okay, vicar or replacement for the Son of God, which we know there is no replacement. But nevertheless, and it certainly is not the Pope. But nevertheless, you see that this mark is associated with worship, so it cannot be the jab. It's associated with worship. It cannot even be. Now it is possible that the technology is already in existence. But even if the technology is in existence, and even if somebody, like for example, let's say people have RFID chips in which they can buy or sell. You have some people say, well, look at biometrics. That's something to look at. But either way, or e-tattoos, etc. If you have those things right now, that is not associated with worship. That's why when people talk about the mark of the beast, you have to say it within the context of what it is. And it is only through great tribulation, and it is associated with worship. So my answer to your question is no. People do not have the mark of the beast now. They have not worshipped anything and associated with specifically with this, if it is this technology. It remains to be seen, right? So no, it has to be during Great Tribulation, and it has to be associated with that worship of that image, right? Now, does that, and again, no buying or selling. That's not that. Also, you don't see that as well, right now. You have people in Scandinavian countries, out of thousands, who make purchases with RFID chips in their hands, buying train tickets, etc., buying groceries, opening doors, having medical records on it. Does that mean that that's the mark of the beast? No, that's not the mark of the beast. Now, when it's associated with your worship, now we got a different thing. And we already know what I'd be remiss not to tell you what your response should be to when somebody says you're going to take this mark or you're going to die. Hey, you need to be like Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, when Nebuchadnezzar made an image for worship, right? Don't worship. You can't worship that, otherwise you'll be cast to hell. Okay, you have to have the same mindset as these righteous men, where it says in Daniel the 3rd chapter and verse 16. Because he said, if you don't worship, you're going into the fiery furnace. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. See, the precedent is already there, and they were thrown into a fiery furnace. You understand, though, that at the time of Great Tribulation, you had this one that's going to say, you just in the same fashion. You want to know what's going to happen? Actually, you could see some things. Go look at like he said, he referred to you to Daniel in Matthew 24. You want to see what's about to take place on this earth? Look at what already took place. Antiochus Epiphanes is a shadow of the man of sin, right? When Nebuchadnezzar told the people to fall down and worship, that was an example. But understand, he said, you're going to see the people being beheaded if they don't worship this image. But now let's pick it up at Revelation 14. Because again, I would be remiss to tell you what's going to happen if you take the mark of the beast. I must tell you this. This is Revelation the 14th chapter. And let's pick it up at verse 9. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and have the faith of Jesus. So understand, if you take that mark, you're going to hell. You're going to hell. You can't take the mark. But the mark is not established yet. The technology may be here, but the mark is not yet. Right? It'd be like if you had guns, and then it was I'm not saying it is, it's something that said, hey, this man's gonna come and he's gonna use this particular gun. He's gonna use a 38 special, and that's gonna set some things in motion. The Bible don't say that. I'm just using this as an example. Just because 38 specials exist don't mean that that up until that point that the 38 special has something to do with this man that's going to use it for a specific purpose. You understand what I'm saying? Just because the technology may already be in existence, and I'm certainly not advocating that you put anything in your body. I'm not. Definitely not. But at the same time, understand, again, the technology being in existence and it being utilized during Great Tribulation are two separate things. Two separate things. So with that, brothers and sisters, it's always my prayer that you were edified.